Hi, this is Rita coming to you with a movie review for BlacKkLansman. Alright, so today we have BlacKkLansman, and it has been a movie that has been suggested through my streaming services. I saw this one on Hulu streaming service. It was one of the ones that was suggested in conjunction with the activities that are going on right outside our door. I thought it was very relevant to have this conversation. So, BlacKkLansman is a movie, and I won't give any spoiler alerts away. I'll keep it very general. BlacKkLansman is a movie that stars James David. I think I'm saying his name right. I'm gonna call him Ron, because his name was Ron Stallworth in the movie. But Ron is a gentleman that we're following who actually saw a now hiring sign outside of the Colorado Springs Police Department. I took it as he saw a hiring sign, but he may not have. But he was hired as one of the first African Americans to actually join the police squad in Colorado Springs. We followed his journey. Initially, he was hired in, and he was just doing paperwork, pushing paperwork, and so on and so forth. And he was not the happiest with that position because he wanted to be part of the action, okay? And so he did actually get involved with a case. He was able to talk his way into looking and like just getting involved with. Initially, he was following the Black Student Union because they brought in Brother Kwame, which now thinking about it, I think that was Brother Stokely. I think that was Stokely Carmichael would have been a real life character, I think. And he was following him and just sitting in to see what was happening at these particular events. And then what he found itself is eventually infiltrating the Ku Klux Klan. And so the story follows what happens whenever you use your own information. And now you have to overcompensate by having one of your colleagues who is not African American play you in actually have to go in there and be the face of your voice. So it was a real interesting take on, civil unrest and racism and things of topics of that nature. What makes this movie specifically different is that it kind of gives like a look at what is a heavy topic. It tries to like give a little bit of a lighthearted or ironic, like the laughter in the movie is more like irony, like isn't that ironic or isn't that happenstance. So I found myself chuckling, not because the topic is funny, but because you're like, ain't that something? Those are the kind of laughters that I felt that I was doing. Overall, I felt it was a great job. It was a Spike Lee production. I felt him all throughout the movie, but I also liked that he was able to take some of the things that kind of don't necessarily resonate with me in some of his other movies. He was able to kind of let this particular project be a standalone or a stand away from some of his previous work. It was able to be a little bit more creative and innovative when it comes to some of the way he shot the film and some of the transitions and some of the ways in which he decided to take on the topic of the person in which he was following. Other things that I enjoyed was the actual dynamic between the two lead characters. I think the main other character's name was Alex in real life his name is Alex, but in the movie I think his name is Flip. So Flip and Ron had a very interesting dynamic because it shows what happens whenever colleagues have to rely on each other. I know specifically there was one particular scene where Ron's character was being shot at, but Flip had to show his allegiance to the Ku Klux Klan. So what he did okay, that would be a spoiler. So you need to watch the movie of how he actually navigates the situation where he has to make a decision on whether or not to shoot or not shoot at Ron's character. So that was interesting. But also I like how they put a face on the fact that not all racism looks like a neo-Nazi, but it could look like Susie Homemaker. And some of the individuals who are doing the most dirt may not look typical of what we think racism or those who practice racism as a hobby would look like. So pretty much so it's a great movie if you want to grab some popcorn, kind of have a little bit of a chuckle here and there while they're handling a heavy topic. I would suggest looking at the BlacKkLansman. Also, I give this a 4 out of 5. There were some things that that kind of took me away from giving it a 5 out of 5. One being, I just kind of noticed, and this is just my observations, is I always call him Denzel Washington's son, but the individual who played Ron, I'm interested now to see that I noticed that he aligns mostly with blockbuster movies that are going to be blockbusters regardless of if he's in them or not, which is great. But now I'm kind of interested in seeing his actual ability to act. I want to see him come out from underneath playing it safe. And in a lot of the characters I have noticed him lately, he has played it extremely safe. I now want to be able to feel some of his emotions, and I'm not at all comparing him to his dad, because he also has a mom who's very much so into Broadway. I want him to see him lean on some of those abilities, so I could see if whenever he's upset about something, or when I can feel like, without him saying anything, do I know what emotion he is trying to portray on the screen. And that's been my challenge sometimes with the young man, is that I don't necessarily see or feel initially what he may be feeling. And there was a scene in the movie where he actually was at a shooting range where the Ku Klux Klan had just finished shooting at these, I guess, shooting dummies, and they were like guys, they looked like him. They were like metal figures of a human, but they looked just like him because they had the fro. And he actually touches the bullet holes, and if he wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have known how he felt. So I would have liked to see him actually do more with his acting chops when it comes to putting those dynamic feelings across, whether they be verbally or non-verbally. And he does good in the things that I've seen him in, but he has it in him, and I'm just ready. And this film would have been that, but I think because the film also had those ironic, funny moments, maybe it wasn't meant for him to go all out into his emotions. So it is what it is. But good job on the acting, good job on the irony, good job on the sarcasm and sarcastic moments. Good job. So if you're looking for something to stream this weekend, you can look at BlacKkKlansman. This came out in 2018, and it's a Spike Lee joint. All right, thanks for checking out Rita. Ready, set, and you should go check out this movie.